What if time itself held the blueprint for restoring balance on Earth? What if our bodies, our rituals, and our way of being already knew the rhythm of harmony? In a world shaped by disharmony and disconnection, how do we return to the source, the mother, within and around us? On this sacred journey of remembering, we explore the return of the divine feminine, encoded in the cycles of nature and in the spiral of time. Welcome to Living the Spiral, Rebalancing with the Great Cosmic Mother.
Tune in with the Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view.
From the east, house of light, may wisdom dawn in us, so we may see all things in clarity. From the north, house of night, may wisdom ripen in us, so we may see all from within. From the west, house of transformation, may wisdom be transformed into right action, so we may do what must be done. From the south, house of the eternal sun, may right action reap the harvest, so we may enjoy the fruits of planetary being. From above, house of heaven, where star people and ancestors gather, may their blessings come to us now. From below, house of earth, may the heartbeat of her crystal core bless us with harmonies to end all war. From the center, galactic source, which is everywhere at once, may everything be known as the light of mutual love. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho. Ayum hunabku evam maya e maho.
In Lakesh, and greetings to everyone out there tuning in this now moment, whatever moment that may find you in now or in the future. We give thanks for your presence on the planet. My name is Mikuak Rai, Kin 126, joined by my brother Rubén Llinás, Kin 113. In Lakesh, brother Rubén.
Alakin and in Lakesh to everyone tuning in to the Galactic Spin on this 28th episode, a beautiful number. and a beautiful opportunity to celebrate you, brother, on your solar return, your entrance to your 50-second solar orbit.
Wow.
To return to the source of the galactic heart, Hunapku, on this Kin 21. So such an honor to share this space, this sacred space with you, and to open this episode in a ceremonial way, because the 28 is the frequency of the feminine. Such an honor to share this space with you, and with tonight's guest, which is it's also like a powerful, beautiful soul that I'm sure that everyone is going to enjoy the conversation as much as we enjoyed when we recorded earlier.
Exactly. Great to be here with you in this frequency together, in the field, in this energetic field. And indeed, it's like I'm actually turning 21 today.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Yeah.
Kin 21, that is.
Yeah.
So grateful to be in this red galactic dragon frequency of attunement, true nurturing underway. So it's perfect, the field, the frequency for what is happening currently and what is to come. So I'm grateful for that position, and also recognizing the frequency and synchronicity with our team, in that Ishel is Kin 16 and Alejandra is Kin 5, combined make 21. So I have the honor of being a frequency match for the two women that are anchoring this effort. Absolutely. Which is no coincidence. We realize in real time the synchronicity that is expressing itself, and we give really, really deep gratitude. Yeah. And, certainly also to my ancestors and to all of our ancestors, making it possible for us to be here now, spiraling through the experience in time, space, as we are experiencing this in a very direct way. We are happy to be here and looking forward to what the next 183 days holds as we reach the marker, the golden intersection of timelines marker, in 183 days, which happens to be exactly half of a solar spin. That's half of basically 182 plus 183 makes 365. So it's everything, a beautiful orchestration. Exactly. So we continue to pulse in, check in with the Earth's pulse, especially at this time. There tends to be a lot of activity, as above, so below, as within, so throughout. And as you mentioned, this is an intentional ceremony from the start, and also pulsing the energy, bringing forward the prayer of the 7 galactic directions, really resonating with Jose Arguelles' tone, his resonance, and his presence, as it were, in this work, along with the other great ones who are part of this ongoing work, including people tuning in now, because we're all collectively realizing the noosphere, the Earth's consciousness layer in that sense, and the roles that we all play in that.
Yeah, and this is a good opportunity to all the people tuning in, just to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us a lot in bringing this message to more people, and to expand this consciousness, expand our reach and our views from this world that every week is a whole different story that is happening in the world. So here we hold the sacred space for the transformation to take place, and for everyone to really get something out of each episode, even if it's like just a little bit of wisdom or resonance. That every impulse counts.
And as that is true, let's check in with the Earth's pulse.
Yes.
So there is some tremendous energy facing and heading towards our planetary outer atmosphere. So talk a bit about that. What's happening now?
Yeah, well, the past 2 days we had two CMEs, coronal mass ejections, and these are expulsions of plasma from the sun. There's two filaments, which is they are the length of the distance from the Earth to the Moon. So people have a little bit of a scale of what is happening. We can see that little stripe at the center of the sun that unleashed, and we had a full halo explosion. So right now, as we speak, we are in the process of receiving that energy from the sun. And speaking about synchronicity, we have two CMEs that are going to spark a G2 geomagnetic storm. And tomorrow is actually Kin 22, the two presents there, and is the white solar wind.
Solar wind.
It's the the kin or the frequency of Quetzalcoatl, Kukulkan, present in many monuments across Mesoamerica as the sign of the prophet Quetzalcoatl, and also the sign of Loidin Burris, Jose's partner at the time of the Harmonic convergence. So we honor her presence today also on this 28th episode, the feminine presence. And we are already in this next slide. I don't know if you noticed, but today we had a major 5.2 quake in Southern California in a town called Julian, like the Julian calendar. So, and the 5.2, well, it's a frequency match for the 52. So everything is, like we mentioned at the beginning, kind of orchestrated. So you were probably, I don't know, did you felt it in LA? Because
we didn't feel it in LA directly, but I got a warning on my phone about it. And then my mother, who happens to live in in San Diego, she felt it. It actually woke her up from her sleep. So yeah, I'm certain folks in that area certainly felt it.
Yeah, I saw some videos, and it was a strong tremor. So we pray here and we hold space for the arrival of these CMEs and these energetic shocks to really help us evolve and let go of those patterns and aspects of the self that already play their role, and that we can keep evolving and transforming with the sun, with the earth, and with the galaxy, and it's a beautiful synchronicity that is these energies arriving tomorrow, Kin 22.
Yeah, it also happens to be my guide power, which is interesting. I think we noted that earlier before going live. Just in the fact that it shows up tomorrow, which then means it's 104 days to my complete solar galactic return.
Yes. Yeah, and we're going to speak in the next segment more about the importance of this window that we are. April 11 to April 15 is a synchronization window between the two counts, the Gregorian count and the 13 moon count. So we are in a very powerful window, and we will explore that in detail.
Time to sink in and tune up then.
Yes.
Let's get to it. All right. So as usual, we are navigating the 13 moon 28-day synchronometer, or the measure of synchronicity. This tool is available on our website, theharmonicfactor.com, for download. This is the current year PDF. You can get, it's beautiful, high color graphics, really beautiful quality, but a great guide for the process that we're navigating together currently, and also up to the golden intersection of timelines. So we certainly encourage people to get this. And this also finds us, as you can see, in the blue rhythmic storm year. This is the frequency of the number 19 out of the 260 kin. coding this year, this entire year coded by that frequency. And as we see here, where we're highlighting the 10th aspect of this 13-step process of the 13-tone planetary service wave spell, we're in the planetary tone of manifestation this entire moon.
Yes, and this, let's remember that each 13 moon cycle is a fractal of a wave spell, which is a 13 unit of time. And within this year, we are in the, as we can see in the next slide, this is the yellow human wave spell. So in this fractal count, each moon corresponds to one king. And as we can see, we are in the 10th moon, which corresponds to the red planetary dragon. So today basically is a double dragon day because we are in the dragon moon, and this is the galactic dragon day. And this is, as we can see, this is the last cycle of 13 moons that started in the year 2021 with the first wave spell of this castle of, this is the white castle, as we can see in the center. So basically we are closing a cycle of 4 years, 4 cycles of 13 moons each for a total of 52 moons. And this is a cycle, every white cycle is a cycle of refinement. So this entire blue rhythmic storm year is coded by the energy of the yellow human, which is the power of free will, and is an invitation to empower us to influence with wisdom whatever happens on planet Earth. So this is a year of transformation because it's the blue rhythmic storm year. And as we can see on the next slide, we can see that this entire moon is the 10th moon of the year, is the planetary moon of manifestation that is inviting us to perfect and produce the energy of birth and nurturing and being. So this is an opportunity to ask ourselves during this entire month, how do we perfect what we do? So the 10th point of any wave spell is an opportunity to really connect with the initial intention of the year, the initial purpose. So this in summary, this is an opportunity to really ask ourselves, well, as humans, what can we do to perfect and produce whatever we intend to produce at the beginning of the year, during the magnetic moon. And what makes this moon special, as we mentioned before, is that, as we can see on the next slide, well, today we are on the 11th day of this planetary moon of the second week, and the energy of this window that we are in, as we can see on the next slide, is an opportunity to I don't know if do you have another slide there? Yes, that one. From the 11th of April to tomorrow, the 15th of April, we are in that green area. And that green area means that on April 11, it was Kin 18. And that was day out of time of last year. That means that was the 0 day or the null day that transitions 1 year, the year of the white overtone wizard to the year of the blue rhythmic storm. So that means that on April 11th, we were basically 260 days away from that marker of day out of time. And tomorrow, it's April 15, and on the Gregorian calendar is the day 105 of the year. That means that we are 260 days away from the end of the year. That means that, as we can see on the next slide, there is a 5-day synchronization window every year. Doesn't matter what is the year bearer or what is the Gregorian year. Every year from April 11 to April 15, we are in that window in which we have 105 days to close the 13 moon year. And on April 15, we are 260 days away from closing the Gregorian year. That means that April 15 is always day 105 of the Gregorian year. Unless it is a leap year, then it's day 106. But nonetheless, this is not a leap year, so tomorrow will be day 105. And that's basically the two numbers that create the system of natural time. We can see on the next slide that we have the human gestation cycle on the left, which is the 260-day Solking matrix or the harmonic module. And we have on the right the human fertility cycle, 13 moons of 28 days each, plus 1 day at a time, to create the perfect match of 260 days plus 105 days is 365 days. So that window, always from April 11 to April 15, we are in that transition. Is a very interesting day because tomorrow is the anniversary of the Banner of Peace. And for those who are new or who don't know the full story, as we can see on the next slide, this is the symbol that represents the union of art, science, and spirituality. This is that circle represents the indivisible bond between all humanity, which is the culture, and the color red represent our blood. So this union of art, science, and spirituality was also represented as a peace treaty. That's why they call the Banner of Peace, and it was on April 15, 1935, 90 years ago, or 9 decades, because this is an important, the number 9 is also really important within the Mayan cosmology. We are completing 9 decades tomorrow of the signature of this. At the center, we see the US 33rd president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, with his vice president to his left, and the 22 dignitaries or presidents of 21 nations of America. So this was the first time that the governments of the continent or any place on earth came together to sign a peace treaty. This symbol, the Banner of Peace, was supposed to be the Red Cross of culture, because it was supposed to protect the cultural heritage of humanity. It was in times of war and places that were under the threat of war. This symbol will be flying as a banner to protect that place from being bombarded or being assaulted. And we are speaking about libraries, museums, schools, monuments, in order to preserve the culture, so that no matter who were winning the war, or the conflict, the culture will stand, and we will have like a testimony, and it will be not destroyed, which is similar to what happened here in America after the European arrival, the colonization, in which a lot of the cultural aspects were eliminated. So this anniversary is also special because, as we can see on the next slide, the two people who created this symbol is this couple, Nicholas and Helena Roerich. And as we can see, the three dots also represent the union of past, present, and future. And this is really, really an amazing synchronicity for us. This is a synchronicity that Alejandra noted, that as we can see on the next slide, Elena is kin 239 dog, and Nicholas Roerich is kin 204 yellow solar seed. So the entire interval of the golden intersection of timelines, which is the 443 years of the Gregorian calendar, from October 15, 1582, kin 239 dog, or white solar dog, the kin of Elena Roerich, to April 14 of 2025, kin 204, the kin of Nicholas Roerich. Those two bookends
October 14th.
Or October 14th.
Not April 14th. That's today. October 14th.
October 14th. Those two bookends are the confirmation that this is an opportunity to really make peace with the Gregorian calendar.
Exactly. 100%.
Yes.
That's what it suggests implicitly, because they literally serve as a holographic container to neutralize it, essentially. And they're the ones, again, like you said, they're the ones that actually instituted the meaning behind issuing the Roerich Peace Pact. It was actually named after him, right? So the Roerich Peace Pact, which applied the banner of peace to the preservation and the safeguarding of, like you said, these aspects and artifacts of the collective and of the global cultures.
Yes, and let's remember that it was Jose and Loidine Arguelles, that tomorrow is her kin 22, white solar wind, Bolonic. They were the ones who resuscitated the symbol to be also the flag for the 13 moon calendar change peace movement. So in the same way that the banner was protecting the cultural patrimony of Earth, all the wisdom that was given to us by the ancient Maya and all the Mesoamerican cultures is supposed to be preserved. This, I think that what people don't really get yet is that all the mathematics and the observations that were recorded, so carefully recorded in stone and in codices, that's not, they are still alive. This is a science that is still alive, and that we are precisely here allowing people to see that is alive. It's not part of a museum, or is not a souvenir on the wall. It's a science that is alive, and that speaks in number and speaks in synchronicity. And this synchronicity of having the two main figures of the banner of peace opening and closing the 443 years of the golden intersection is just very humbling and very beautiful. And this is why we invite everyone to celebrate October 14, 15, wherever you are. Just similar to Day Out of Time is a peace through culture day. It's a day to be at peace with
Right.
ourselves and with the planet and with the Gregorian calendar that has created so much havoc.
Absolutely. And part of that's interesting, as you mentioned, that it comes up here and there. We had Wanique Shabazz on last episode, and his work focuses on making peace with your parents.
Yeah.
So part of arriving to global peace through culture is also making peace with our parents and exploring what that means in terms of really loving into our parents as our source of life, the ones through whom we receive our source code, that shows up as our signature, for example, the sign of our nature. And similarly, we can become familiar with our parents' signatures to get a better, more coherent perspective on the purpose of our parents in relationship to us, or any relations for that matter, though most of the impressions one receives initiate with their parents, even in vitro in the womb prior to birth. That coding is already happening. So just becoming more familiar with that and with the codus as it relates to your own family and lineage can be very, I think, informative. And one thing also to mention is the application of this time science. Ultimately, even when we look at the wave spells specifically in the harmonic module specifically, it's for the purpose of healing. It's for the purpose of restoration. It's for the purpose of actually transforming through the errors that have occurred across the span of these 443 years, for example. What to mention the several thousand of the Gregorian calendar as well, right? So 2,000 years at that or more. So just looking at where we find ourselves now and these tools that are available to make sense and to actually neutralize the effects. And that's what we want to make especially conscious. I mean, literally here we are half a year to this golden intersection point. So, these synchronicities, I think, are becoming more and more apparent. Certainly to us, we're tracking the stuff regularly. So we're very aware of the increase in what's emerging in terms of how it's communicating, right? So just to mention that, and also say one more thing, the 21 frequency that's today relates also to the fact that there were 21 signatory countries to that peace pact in 1935.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to put that in perspective, 21, and they were primarily of the Americas.
Yeah.
So just to note that the purpose of it really does specifically address the stabilization throughout the Americas.
Yeah.
Which, as we heard from our guests in the previous weeks, there is more of an emphasis necessarily being placed now on sourcing the origin stories connected to these lands.
Yes.
Because a lot of that has been either covered over, neglected, ignored, or otherwise misdirected, with entire populations' attention misdirected through academia or what have you, that become the sort of standard bearer, just like the Gregorian calendar is a civil standard. But we can tell that in no ways means it's true. And by that I mean it's no way necessarily designed to liberate you. That's the purpose of actually applying these other lenses, is to actually break free from the zero-sum game that's been, practically imposed through the Gregorian calendar. But fortunately, as you say, these are powerful synchronizations, seeing how it's lining up. It's like they're hosting the party in a way.
Yes.
And
it's so beautiful that, as we mentioned before, since we are 206, tomorrow will be 260 days away from closing the year 2025, which is the year of the golden intersection. That means that December 31st, the bookend of this entire year, will be King 22. So that's another powerful confirmation that that we are on the right track, and that all of this has been orchestrated from above by a higher intelligence, and that we are just really connecting the dots here. And as we can see here, we are locating now ourselves within the 1320 harmonic module. This is the second cycle of 13 days that we are transiting. We are at the start also of the second column of 20 days of the 1320 matrix Kin 21, the red galactic dragon. And we will close this cycle on Kin 26, the white cosmic wall bridger, and that will be April 19. Let's remember that this is also Easter week. So April 19 will be, I think is Saturday of this week. So we will be one day in the next wave spell, the wave spell of healing the hand, will be the Easter Sunday.
Easter and Passover. They coincide, and that doesn't happen every year. But this year, specifically, it is happening.
Wow, I didn't knew that. So thank you for bringing that in. And also the fact that the entire Gregorian calendar is actually based on, like, Easter has a very, very important role. It plays a really important role because usually the Easter is calculated every year. It shifts from one year to the other. Sometimes is the last week of March, sometimes is the second or first week of April, and that this is because it's connected to the new moon. We had a powerful full moon yesterday, the pink moon, and I think is the way that is calculated by the Gregorian calendar is that is always connected with the first new moon after the equinox or something like that. So, which is March 21st. So the two most important dates on the Gregorian calendar, and which is the calendar of the Catholic Church, is the celebration of Christmas, which is the birth of Christ, and the death of Christ, which is Easter. So those 2 points are the main protagonists of this timing system that is completing this year 443 years, corresponding to one perfect fractal of the golden number. So as we saw also during the last episode, this entire wave spell is coded by, or is full of prophetic signs. We started on Kin 14, the white magnetic wizard, with the completion of 1980 Solkins from the accession of King Pakal, the great Pakal Votan, to the throne of Palenque. And as we can see, every white king during this wave spell has a very important role here within that prophetic structure, because on Kin 18 we were connecting with the Out of Time of our last year of the white overtone wizard, which is the 5th year of a cycle of 13 years that started with the white magnetic wizard and that will end with the white cosmic wizard, as we will see on the next slide. But we want to make emphasis again also on the fact that the 7th day of this cycle is also a clear sign of the prophecy of Pakal Votan. Is the clear sign of prophecy number 6. There are 13 signs or 13 glyphs around the sarcophagus lid of King Pakal, and we happen to have 2 of them because the day 13 is also a clear sign of prophecies, the clear sign number 13. And as we already mentioned, tomorrow, King 22, which is the other white king on this wave spell, the sign of Quetzalcoatl, the birth sign of Bolonic Loidimburis, who will be completing 115 Solkins since her arrival to Earth, and 90 years of the Banner of Peace, which is the symbol that she helped to revive along with Jose. So this is a really beautiful way of recapitulating the story that is unfolding. And as we can see on the next slide, this fractal of 13 days has also like a fractal of 13 years that started on July 26, 2019, Kin 14, White Magnetic Wizard. As I mentioned before, last year was the White Overtone Wizard. That means that in the year 2027, we will be living the White Solar Wizard, and in the year 2031, we'll be entering the last year, which would be New Zero Cycle 1.44, a beautiful frequency also, to completing the year 2032 on the Out of Time 2032, this 13-unit cycle, what is called like a 13-year bundle. So we are transiting right now the 6th year within this bundle of 13 years, and next year the yellow resonant seed year at the center will be right at the 7th chamber of this wave spell of 13 years. And this is the year of the golden intersection. So I'm sure that it will resonate to the past and to the future to bring that resonance of flowering across the timelines.
It is absolutely elegant, really. And we encourage people to take the time to play back the video and pause if you need to, and make sure you look at it full screen just to get a fuller appreciation of the codes. And once you learn the language, you begin to see how it functions. Mm-hmm. And as it functions, you begin to also have revealed to you the synchronicities connected to the numbers, especially once you identify where you are in the number. And that's one of the things we want to emphasize tonight, is to really encourage people to get themselves decoded. If you don't already know your galactic signature, we invite you to visit lawoftime.org, where you can easily access the decoder at the very top of the website. Decode your birth date, for example, or any other date you would like to know the galactic signature of. We think that that's definitely a great place to start in terms of how to navigate in natural time and to begin to appreciate the recurrence of the codes and how it recurs in our lives or across our experiences, and the various layers of meaning we can infer from that.
Yeah, and the fractal nature of it.
Absolutely.
We are here transiting 13 days that are recapitulation of a larger process of 13 years. So this is really a beautiful opportunity to put this message out, and especially considering the fact that you're entering your 50-second orbit tomorrow, or today actually.
Yeah, we're in it, and I think it's just, I've looked forward to this. I'm not one that necessarily publicizes my birth date. I tend to keep it very low key, though reaching this marker and this year that we're now entering has always been a very key goal, I suppose, in a way. Since I got decoded when I was basically 26 years old, so becoming 52 and living into this frequency for half of my life, it's quite an experience, and to arrive here now and have a young son and 2 young children that I'm, along with their mother, nurturing and raising these children with this awareness, with this consciousness, and just recognizing, how it really does impact, how it applies. And I do want to give a shout out to Ishel, in fact, for the amazing opening video this evening. Be sure to check out the playlist on the Harmonic Factor on YouTube, called Opening Transmissions, the Galactic Spin Opening Transmissions playlist, for the series of videos that Ishel has been crafting to help tell the story of this process, of this ceremonial experience. Just really illustrative and profound. So just really appreciating that creative expression that she really helps dial in every episode.
Yes,
So
in being this her wave spell also.
right. Exactly. So many things happening this wave spell, and our guest as well. So in light of that, we want to also tap in with this amazing pre-recorded ceremonial moment we were able to share with Kin 25, who also happens to be the crystal tone of the current wave spell that we're navigating right now. So powerful synchronization. Ishel on the electric tone of this wave spell, Mama Tawhiyda, Kin 25, in the crystal tone of this wave spell. And then here I'm entering my galactic tone of this cycle of my 52nd year being completed until I arrive at my new birth, essentially, or returning to the beginning at another layer or another round of the spiral. So
Yeah. So we are time traveling to the next year. That on this day will be King 126.
Wow.
White solar wind. White solar war bridger.
Right. Absolutely. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this powerful transmission from our guest for tonight's episode. In Lakesh, everybody tuning in, we give great thanks for your presence. In Lakesh, and welcome back to the Galactic Spin podcast. Time is art. We are so grateful to be joined by none other than Kin 25, Tawhiyda Tupak-El, Clan Mother, representing the Pan-Atlantis region, ATL. And we just really give great thanks for your presence on the planet at this time.
Ashe. I'm so glad to be here. I'm honored to be on the Galactic Spin podcast. I came through Blue Knights. My mother and my father both Galactic and Crystal Knight, Kin 103 and 203. So I'm so glad. They both dropped their body. They're in the etheric realm, but they are with me half and half. My parents are with me right now, and I'm so glad to be interfacing with you through this technology.
Yeah,
honor.
we give great thanks. And we've known each other for a couple of decades at this point. I moved to Atlanta in 2004, which is when I got a chance to connect after meeting Wanique the year prior in Washington, D.C., when he interfaced with me on the day at a time. And then I was moved by spirit to really relocate to Atlanta. And then I know meeting you in the community and all of the various creative spaces and harmonic nodes that exist in Atlanta is just such an important part of my life. And so being present with you now, this many years later, I mean, this is 21 years ago now for me. Yeah. And on the airing of this episode, I become Kin 21, which is quite unique. So, beautiful, just synchronization. And as you well know, the power and the frequency, the message in the numbers is so informative and so instructive. And so I'm excited to learn from you and your wisdom, because you've been attuned with the frequency for I guess several years. Tell us a little bit about how you got introduced specifically to your GPS or your galactic signature, your kin.
Yeah, in Philadelphia, I was a part of the Jewel Pukram support group, and that was when I met Wanique, who was facilitating the male support group, and he would come maybe once a month to Philadelphia to do galactic readings or sessions, and that's how I got introduced to what my galactic signature is, and the 13 tones and the 20 archetypes. I believe that was like kind of my initial solidification of really learning it and then studying it. And then, well, that was Philadelphia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then when I moved down here, maybe 25 years ago, moved to Atlanta from Philadelphia about 25 years ago. And I seen Juanique again. He was doing a thing called the ziggurat. And that was with people like Mama Adama from WRFG, Sister, I believe, Naime, or Inyame is her name.
Yeah, and Yame
She's Kin
Selassie.
239.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And so they were given something called the ziggurat. Were you there, Mikuak?
You know, I was not there, but it sounds like
Okay.
I would have been had I known about it.
Yeah.
I don't know
It
if I
was
was
a
in Atlanta
2
yet.
or 3 day event. It was very, very nice. Drumming, singing, and dancing. It was at a school, Florence Jackson School. And it was just really amazing. And he was like doing galactic signatures and printing them out on the computer. So you would walk away with an 8x10 of your affirmation and of your poster. So, and of your signature, your archetype. So I got to have that in all the children's rooms so they could color it and see it and know their affirmation. So that had to be, I've been in Atlanta since like 2021.
Okay.
And so I think I went to that ziggurat very early on
Hmm.
when I came here. You know, Wanique would get classes here and there. I got a lot of information from the Law of Time, and then years later with the app,
Right.
keeping up, as a day keeper, as a time traveler, keeping up with the tone, the color, and then getting the book, of course, the Mayan Oracle, so I
Mm.
could keep up with the crystal and the mudra. And so that's what I began to wear, the colors of the day, you know, like Red Dragon, Red Skywalker, and things like that. So something on me is going to reflect the color of the day so I can embody it and I can share it with people, red, white, blue, and yellow. Red, white, blue, and yellow.
That's
And then
right.
on galactic days, I would wear green.
Okay.
And your World Bridger days, I would wear green as well. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's my
Wow.
initial.
Living into it. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the expression of time is art. You know, that's when people say that. It's like really how you build this into your life as a
Yes.
lifestyle, as a
Yes.
frequency range that you access
Mm-hmm.
deliberately and consciously.
Yeah.
And so it's beautiful to hear you just share how you,
Mm-hmm.
one of the many ways in which you express this consciousness,
Yes.
So thank you. That's amazing. And so you mentioned
Mm-hmm.
some powerful things as well. You mentioned Dr. Jewel Pookrum and your time in
Yeah.
Philadelphia in working with
Mm-hmm.
her. We had the privilege of actually speaking with her, Ruben and myself, in the year 2016 at the UN with Wanique. We brought Wanique and
Mm.
Dr. Pookrum there, and in fact, Queen Afua attended with a couple of the other Queen Mothers from New York City to that
Mm.
particular event. But it was really a presencing of the consciousness of, or what's the impact of the artificial time Gregorian calendar on our
Mm-hmm.
consciousness, on our mental health and well-being.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think about Pookrum's work with brain balancing. And I know that
Yeah.
you do, even probably in your daily practice up to today, still engage
Yeah.
in some. Talk a little bit about that. It's such a powerful
Yeah. Yeah,
tool
I
to
do.
introduce to people.
I was introduced to brain balancing, wow, many moons ago, way before I moved down here. And before Jewel, it was a couple. I think they were out of Arizona, and they had introduced me to brain balancing. And I think Joe Perkham kind of acquired it after that time.
Okay. Okay.
And so when I started studying with her in the sister support group in Philadelphia, that was one of the requirements for us to do brain balancing. So brain balancing became an everyday part of my life. I got through maybe 45 days, and then it went into like a whole year. Then I broke off from it, but through the years I would come back to it and
Mm.
either start my day with it or end my day with it, so that I could become hemi-synced. The brain balancing, it balances your intellectual with your emotional so that you can show up in your best self, and any triggers and things like that, you could learn to balance that out. It's like divine feminine energy kind of raising up, saying it's going to be okay. You don't have to fear. You don't have to run. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to have issues with anything. So it really, really, really helped me to hold the focus. I'm a Libra in the air sign, so I tend to be like, information just turns me on. I tend to be so out there. So the brain balancing helped me to come within and see my own inner sky, my own worthiness, my own medicine, and my own juice that I have to offer. So the brain balancing, I like it because it's so universal. Children can do it. You can do each symbol. You focus on these symbols. And I even seen the symbols on YouTube. You have the circle and the dot. You have the crossbar, and then you have the triangle. And then there's another symbol that you create yourself. And you can put colors in there and designs and things like that. So just honing in the focus for what it is, you're looking at what's in front of you. It just trains your mind to bring it back to the center. Bring it back to the center. But there's so many distractions within your own body and out there in the universe that's a very good tool to be focused. So that really helped me to show up better emotionally, get over fear of being myself, of stuttering, of being just self-conscious, and other things too. Just your own intelligence is accessible to you. It's a really good tool as a morning devotional or as at night, along with other things like yoga and breathing and prayer and chanting. I see brain balancing as one of those things, especially me as a serpent dealing with the energy, the Kundalini energy, the energy of Moldak, and how that explosion happened so many moons ago, and it's so much out there. It helped me kind of harness that life force and kind of anchor it in my body, Yeah.
Yeah, it leads to my next question. I was going to ask you, in fact, describe for me a little bit about what it means to you to be Crystal Serpent, the red crystal serpent, just out of curiosity or just interest for how that expresses through you, because it's unique for everyone.
Right.
I'm sure each crystal serpent would have their own unique expression of how that expresses for them or is embodied.
Yeah. For me, it's amazing because I've always was attracted to anything Olmec and Mayan. I wanted to be a psychologist. I didn't go to school for psychology, but I was interested in like blood rituals, right? Um, so when I started my menses, I went to a sweat lodge and there was a priestess there. She said she was from the stars and that she was only going to be here just to deliver this message. And she told us to give our menstrual blood back to the earth. This was the first time I was hearing this. This was many moons ago. I no longer flower, but within that time, I started to ritually give my blood back to the earth, a peaceful blood, an unaborted blood. The earth knows your name and knows why you came. So, with a pure prayer, just like the prayer of the seven galactic directions, I know if sisters, women, my daughters would do this in mass, we would have the end of all wars. So being a crystal serpent is the universal energy of the planet is music. I love music. I show up in the world as a wizard, 194 crystal wizard. So I love rainbows. I love the music of the spheres. Um, I'm a market woman, so people they listen to my enchanted voice. I enchant them. I entice them. I have an honest spirit. I'm magnetic to most human beings. I love to dance. That Kundalini energy has to move. If you're not making love with a partner, you have to dance. Or you can do both, you know? But so crystal serpent means making every moment sacred. The moment I'm having right now is so sacred with you and Rubén, your family, the energy that you bring, your ancestors that you bring. your kin numbers, your knowledge, your purpose. This is a sacred moment. So crystal people, and particularly me, the Crystal Serpent, we deal with life force, super vitality, super vitality on all levels. Now, yeah, I sleep and I get weary, but I can regenerate my energy very, very quickly. So I have to learn how to harness that life force for good. Because crystals can be called on by a lot of people because you want a crystal person on your team because we're going to dedicate ourselves to what it is we say we're going to dedicate ourselves to. So we have to make sure that we dedicate our life force to the right things, things that's going to help the planet, uplift fallen humanity in all ways. So being a crystal serpent is just wonderful. At first, before I learned about the medicine of the serpent and the true meaning, I was attributing a whole lot of snake in the grass. It's nasty, it's mean, it's a poison. But and all archetypes have their shadow side.
Right.
But when I began to study about how ancient the serpent is and how wise and how it's on its belly, and I have my antipod, which is the blue eagle, Kin 155, can help me with my ascension and my wings so that I can fly and reach that pinnacle of the Kundalini rising, you know?
Mm.
I'm guided by the earth. I so love Kaban. I'm such a earth keeper. So just within my own destiny cross, the opportunity that I have to bring forth my whole self, my full self in my emotional body, there's the crystal, the lunar warrior. So that's my red, white, blue, and yellow. So my whole destiny cross, my soul destiny, uh, destiny circle speaks to dedicating myself to every moment, being present, having this zigzag, snake like energy, this universal spiral energy, the
Yeah.
red that initiates, the crystal that if I start something, that I can become immortal. Like a habit that I start, most time I started on crystal days, or if I'm having a meeting, I want to do it on a crystal day. So I have that kin of the court to anchor in that duplicating energy. And with me, I know that my blood is a crystal and I can
Come on.
amplify.
Come
I
on.
amplify those things that I enchant. My invoicing should be positive and joyful and sends a harmonic resonance throughout the universe. So I just love this galactic 25 to
Mm.
25. I dedicate in order to thrive.
Sir Thrive. Mm.
Universalizing energy. I seal the store of life force with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of navigation. So my Kaban is Kin 77, which is a portal,
Mm.
which talks about synchronicities and patterns and things like that. It's a wonderful thing. The day that you called me to invite me to this program, um, it might have been Kin 18 or 19, right? But I talked to my daughter later that day, and she said, "Mom, have you been feeling any pings in your uterus?" I was like, yeah, I have. Are you pregnant? Right? She said, "Yes, Mom, I'm pregnant." And I was like, wow. I said, Mo Azama, we were just with each other a month ago and you didn't tell me. She was like, well, I wasn't sure. And then I felt kind of weird because I was supposed to know. I was supposed to know that she was pregnant, right? I was supposed to pick it up intuitively. But she said, yeah, I'm going to the store now, Mom, to buy a watermelon. And I was like, a watermelon? I said, I brought a watermelon today too. So, and I rarely buy a watermelon out of season. Like before June, I really don't buy watermelon. But I bought two watermelons on the day that my daughter told me she was pregnant. She's kin 145. She's lunar serpent. We have the
Wow.
exact same destiny cross.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Wow.
just the synchronicities of
Wow.
life I
Hmm.
love. And one of the things that I do as a crystal, we love music. So different songs can be appropriate at different times. I may interject a song title or lyrics to a song just to finish a sentence or something. So
Universalizing. That's
Yeah.
right.
universalizing.
Universalizing. That's right.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. I really appreciate of your sincere embodied description
Mm-hmm.
of
Hmm.
how you live and move through this signature, through the sign
Hmm.
of your nature,
Yeah.
really and truly. And
So alive.
so alive and vibrant, like you said, you just sort of
Hmm.
thrive. I love the
Yeah.
creativity because we can affirm it and evolve it as we see fit. So remarkable. And you mentioned as well that Wanique was among the first people to really introduce you to this cosmology. Is that
Yeah.
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
And and I know he has what's called the galactic purpose signatures. That's how he refers to
Yeah.
the GPS.
Hmm.
And so, just as you described it, and also as you described your parents, I know very central to his work is also just the healing of the issues in your tissues in
Making
relationship,
peace with your
making peace with
parents.
your parents. Exactly.
Yeah. And it was
Mm-hmm.
so interesting. He did my galactic. He told me what my galactic signature was, and then he did my book, like my galactic signature,
Yeah.
but it was the wrong 10. I'm 10-5-59.
Okay.
He did 5-10-59. So I think that wound up being maybe a red earth or something like that. Then he had to
Okay.
do it like all over again.
Okay.
And
Okay.
finally I got, the true one for 10-25.
Hmm.
And yeah, that was like a book
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
just
His is.
reading about the castle and
Yeah,
all
exactly.
that
The
stuff.
structure, yeah, all of that, all of that. Yeah, in fact, in the show notes for people checking that, we put a link to his website for anybody that might be interested to follow up and
Hmm.
find out their own GPS. He was on our last episode. In fact, he was there with King Etznab. So it's wonderful. Again, just the continuity with the Atlanta community generally, and that we
Yeah.
really in this area of the world. Um, there are a few hubs, and Atlanta happens to be one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon is
Yeah.
another, obviously, where the
Oregon.
Foundation for the Law of Time, where their foundation is based,
Okay.
where their offices are. Uh,
Hmm.
but just to know that there are nodes and areas. LA has some presence of that too. I mean, we're here as well, but there traditionally has been some presence of the knowledge
Hmm.
here. Chicago has some presence as well with some kin there that are very strong. So it's just interesting to note. We find more activity with this knowledge, frankly, outside of the United States,
Mm-hmm.
in
Hmm.
other parts of the world, particularly throughout Latin America. There's a
Mm-hmm.
prevalence of it. Argentina, Chile, Brazil,
Hmm.
Mexico. Obviously, you'll find a lot of places. But it's interesting as well just
Yeah.
to amplify those of us in North America that have
Hmm.
connected with this and reconnected with this knowledge, with these codes.
Right.
Uh,
Stay connected with it because I remember when you were here in Atlanta,
mhm.
you activated a lot of us. The
Yeah,
work that you did with Aja,
yeah,
with the cafes that she would have.
yeah, yeah. Those are great.
And you would be there doing galactic signatures, printing things out.
Yeah,
And then there was the poetry sessions that you would do. I think you called the Sonic Room or the Bloom Room,
the womb room,
the, the Woo Room.
womb,
So,
WOMB, the womb room.
hmm
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
that was unforgettable and phenomenal.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, it was
Landmark.
powerful,
Yeah.
powerful times. I was thinking about Javaology. In fact, the venue where we used to have that earlier today.
Yeah.
Hmm. Remarkable, right there on the
Wow.
same block as where Dr. King and Coretta's bodies are laid to rest, and
Yeah.
a powerful, powerful
Hmm.
center of magnetism from souls around the world, obviously drawn there
Hmm.
daily. But it was a
Yeah.
real blessing to have been able to ground
It
this energy
was.
there at the time that we were doing this. This would have been in
Hmm.
2004, 5, 6. That was around
Yeah,
that time.
Makoa, did you bring he's an ancestor now. Did you bring forth Dr. Blair to one of your
Yeah,
events
Delbert
as
Blair.
well?
Yep, he came through. He was there. Yep.
Yeah.
Ima Deborah Yave was also there. She came through a few
Yes.
times. Ima Deborah, yeah.
Ashe,
Ashe,
Ashe.
Ashe. Oh, that's right. The mothership. Yeah,
Wow. Oh my goodness.
yeah, 222, yeah,
That was
222.
amazing. Because we were able to bring our families, bring our
Yes,
children and everything. And that was
exactly.
a nice, warm, intimate space that we
Yes.
created.
Yeah, no, it was a blessing. That was a moment in the creative path. Each of us have our path brings us to now, but that was definitely part of my memorable experiences. And Atlanta has been so, in many ways, formative for me. I mean,
Mm,
I lived in D.C. for many years, so I was very
yes.
deeply engaged in the community in Washington, D.C. And then I got
Mm-hmm.
that nudge to move to Atlanta, and it was, it was synchronicity to pay attention and to listen at that time. I came down
Mm-hmm.
there actually to cut that album, Simple Truth. And then I
Yeah.
recorded that in Atlanta and released that in Atlanta. And then after that, I came to
Oh my
LA
God. That
to
was
bring the
amazing.
music. But yes, it's just
Simple truth. We all were playing it all
shit.
over WRFG. I don't care who the air shifter was. We played it,
Mm,
and you had the numbers to your song, like the whole feng shui, the whole
yeah,
tones
yeah,
from magnetic to cosmic. It was
yeah.
amazing how you did that.
Ashe,
Simple
yeah.
truth. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more creative sites on the horizon here. But I
Mm-hmm.
want to check in with you as well because you mentioned farming. And now, this is, I think, a
Mm-hmm.
very important subject. And you were also sharing with me when we spoke that you were listening to the podcast as you had your hands in the earth. You were listening to the
Mm-hmm.
interview with Wanique and Etsnab, and you were connecting with the soil. And
Mm-hmm.
I was so moved, and honestly just really moved by that, because that's how we want people to receive this, because
Mm.
it is very broad-minded and very heady in some cases. It's a lot of data and
Mm-hmm.
information. And yet I feel like when we can find a grounding activity like that, whether it's connecting in the earthworks or breathing or practicing yoga or just tuning in and relaxing, whatever it may be,
Oh yeah.
that's key. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your connection with farming, because
Mm-hmm.
returning to the earth and these garden culture communities, that is the now time and the future. I feel that really those of us in resonance are being called to. So share a little bit about that, because there's a
Oh yeah.
thriving community of that in Atlanta in particular.
Yeah, I started farming in Philadelphia. I lived in a row home, and my uncle came over one time and said, "We're gonna turn up this ground, turn over the ground, take all the rocks out, kind of till it, and we're gonna plant seeds." And that's what he did. So he was the first one that showed me how to garden and farm and be a steward of the earth. My Uncle Donald, right? And so I would go out there every day and just be in the garden. I was even there in the rain. I couldn't stop myself. It was such an attraction. And I grew cucumbers and onions and beans and carrots and things. And the cucumbers kind of grew up on like a trellis, like on the banister that led to my house. So the cucumbers, like, as soon as you pick them, they start producing again. So the cucumbers were like coming into my house. They were like, I was like, all these cucumbers. I started frying cucumbers and making cucumber sandwiches, doing all different types of stuff
Wow.
with the food. And then gardening helps you to share food with your neighbors. You can't eat all the food sometimes. So
Exactly.
you build a relationship with the community, with your neighbors, with food. Um, and then so I got so many years of satisfaction with that. And I remember moving away from the house, moving out of that house, and then coming back a couple months later, and carrots as big as my arm I was pulling up out of the ground. They just because I moved, the food is still going to stay there. It knows when it's time to seed again and to overwinter and just come back again. It's just a magical thing watching the seasons um, come forward. When you're on a farm, you're really, really, really in touch with that. The atmosphere is feeding me. I don't have any issue with pollen. A couple people on the farm where I serve, they have to wear masks during the pollen season. I'm so glad that I don't have any issues with it. I mean, it makes my car look a little ruddy, but being one with the earth is so amazing. It's very relaxing. People talk about grounding, taking off your shoes, but just touching a plant and putting your hands in the soil can be grounding too. Listening to the plant. Sometimes I don't always have my headphones on. I take them off sometime and just listen to the plant or entice the plant to let me know its spirit, its medicine, what it's here to do, why it's growing so close to me and so prolific. It's medicine. It's like, pick me, pick me. So, yeah, I work at the farm and I just love the seeds. And I'm a part of the agricultural community here. Work with Ross Kofi, work with Eugene Cook, work with Rashid Nori. So I've learned so many different things from them as far as from the ground to the table. I do the markets, so I really get to interface with people and let people know to eat locally. Your food has information that you need. Like we seeded it, and it's going to grow for you. One of the farmers that I just mentioned that taught us to put the seeds in your mouth first and plant them so that the seed will know your DNA. I mean, the earth knows your name and knows why you came. So that's one of the reasons I was an advocate for women to give their menstrual blood back to the earth in a positive way so that it's like a blood libation and that the earth could answer your prayers and she would feel your vibration because that's a selfless thing to do
Hmm.
as opposed to taking that sacred blood and flushing it or patting it and not giving it back to the earth so that we can end all wars.
Hmm.
So that sacred blood can be a medicine because
Yes.
we are going to go back to Mama Earth one day, right? She's
Yeah.
going to reclaim us, reclaim our blood, our bones, and everything. So let's make peace with her now and tend to her by planting something in a pot, something on your windowsill, volunteering at a community garden, composting, and eating locally. So I'm definitely an advocate for that because it charges your blood,
Hmm.
and she's our mother, she's our family. So Earth Day to me is every day.
Ashe.
Yes, I was listening to you and everything you are sharing with us, with the energy that you're transmitting while sharing, both so alive. And what, as a grandmother and as a woman that has worked with more women and that has been leading women's circles and doing this blood offering, sacred blood offering every moon, what would the message that you would give to the new generations, the teenagers that are starting to get familiar with their bodies and how we as men also can get more in tune with that feminine energy, because that's the purpose of this 28th episode, is to really get in touch with that frequency of the fertility cycle.
Overstood, yeah. With women, we're born with our eggs as little babies. So we already have the universe in our wombs, right? So we have to diffuse the fact that women hate their periods or they think it's nasty and just unneeded. Of course, we don't want to hemorrhage, but if we are bleeding, we want to clean our blood up so that we are bleeding less. But the blood that issues from our wombs is a healing blood and it can be medicine. So we have to retrain our girls, our daughters, to see bleeding as an opportunity to heal our wounds, to heal Mother Earth, to set up a communication with Mother Earth. So we need to bring back the rites of passages. The when we have our periods, the onset, there should be a celebration, there should be a teaching, not to just give them some sanitary napkins for hygiene, but to let them know why this is happening, the sacredness, the magnitude, the magnificence of the blood that issues from their bodies, and just setting up a communication with your womb to talk to your womb, the precious place where we all emerge from. So when I look at emerging from the womb, it's like a birth for me as well. I have 15 grandchildren as of my kin 145 just told me that she's carried a baby. So that'll make 15 for me, and I always want more. Um, yeah, the grandchildren will proliferate and they will keep up. They will all know their kin numbers, their galactic signatures, so they will be the ones who will bring about this new time shift, this new paradigm, this ancient way of holding the blood sacred, giving it back to the earth as a potent medicine of communication and as a pure prayer to stop all wars. So I see that as a peaceful way. Since we march and protest anyway, this would be a fantastic way to, a surefire way of bringing about a peaceful world in our own way from the medicine that issues from our bodies. I think men can be supportive when women are on their moon time with massage, with rubbing their bellies, with reading to them, any type of nurturing that can be done during that time. I spent some time in the Ansar Allah community. It was a Islamic community. And when the girls started their period, we would give them a party and they would get gifts and we would cook for them like the whole duration, maybe 4 or 5 days during that time. We would really, really make them feel special, so that they would know that this particular phenomena that's happening in their bodies, they would one day become mothers, but that they should be happy with this um, biological phenomena that happens to them, because you get once, a period every, like once every 21 days. And then early on, I was tracking my cycle so I would know when I was fertile and things like that. So just the whole biology of numbers, we as women, since we carry the universe in our wombs, we carry the baby's head circumference. That's a number. The length of the spine, that's a number. The weight that the baby is. The baby is normally 7 pounds or more. So this is the whole science of numbers and knowing the baby's kin number. I have a grandson. He's kin 124, yellow resonant seed. He wants to know everybody's kin number. He knows his signatures in order and tone. So he's fascinated about it, and he flowers, he targets, so he's really, really keen with detail. And he'll just do anything to stay up or try to put him to bed. He said, well, how come we don't have any red earths in the family? And do we have any white dogs? He wants to know all that. So, yeah, we have, as grandmothers, we have to begin to teach our children, our grandchildren this. So it supersedes their birthday. Of course, we can celebrate their Gregorian birthday, but let them know that their kin number, their energy, their tone, and even a little bit of numerology in that as well. So we can foster the new time. Anything we could do, I do. I put people's kin number along with their phone number in my phone, in my inbox. So I'm reminded to call them on that specific day if they're not a time traveler, if they're not keeping up with their galactic signature. I will call them on that day, kin 20 or kin 21. So yes, this is very, very auspicious, very, very, very key to us knowing that our period is sacred, because one day you're going to be like me and you no longer flower, but you're going to remember those sacred period times. And you remember the time. I can remember the time I had an orgasm and a hot flash at the same time. Most phenomenal thing that I could ever experience. So I'm searching for another woman on the planet who has had an orgasm and a hot flash at the same time. I'm a serpent. I mean, we just this how we do.
So, any women out there listening to the podcast, if you have had this experience, you can leave us a comment and we'll make sure to
Yes,
connect you with
yes,
Mama Tawhida. Amazing.
that's
I
right.
want to circle back to something else you were mentioning. I mean, as Kin 77 is your guide,
Mm-hmm.
it's no small thing that you have this beautiful, profound connection with Earth.
Mm.
One way of expressing that is through farming, getting your hands on the land, as you've been sharing with us. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
offering the blood medicine back to the earth is another method of that deep connection. I'm
Mm-hmm.
wondering telepathically, as you're engaged with the earth or as you've been engaged with the medicinal processes, uh, have you received any message for the collective? You're the crystal tone. You're guided by crystal earth. At this time, is there any transmission that you've received or feel or intuit for the collective? Because that's one of the things I think we're also navigating is this collective initiation. We're leading up to a very significant portal called the golden intersection of timelines. And so gathering a perspective of this wisdom is very, very key for the collective right now. So I'm just wanting to know, have you
Mm.
tapped into any message that really stands out or speaks to your heart?
Oh yeah, I keep my ear to the ground. I keep my ear to the ground for sure. Yeah, one of the messages that comes up is the herbs and the plants and the weeds that we cut down or we poison. We need to be eating them. Your plantain, your yellow dock, your lamb's quarters, your comfrey, all of the weeds that grow between the concrete that are not planted but grow in spite of you. We need to be bringing them home and eating them. You know, it was the same day you called me. I was walking in the back toward the back of the farm, and I was like, I seen a plant that I love. This plant normally flourishes in the tropical sun, very, very, very hot. But when I looked at where it was growing outside of a plant, outside of a hole in the plant with a direct sunlight hitting. That plant is holy basil tosi. My middle name should be Tawhida Tupak-El. I absolutely love holy basil. When it grows, I eat it. I drink it as a tea. I steep it in my honey to make infused honey. So the herbs and the plants are growing for us.
Mm,
You know, everything we need is about
wow.
180 feet within our radius. And when you give your blood back to the earth, or if you put a little urine in your pot or the earth, it's going to send up something that you actually need. I noticed that one of the synchronicities that I've noticed that the first flower that comes up in the spring is like daffodil, is really gold. And then when the springtime goes, when the fall comes, another yellow plant like goldenrod comes up. So those yellow seeds. I work with a farmer. She's kin 144. It's like, wow, you're a magnetic seed. And you're right here on the farm, you know. So the earth wants us to eat more locally. We got to take off our shoes, especially if we're ill, if we have time. I had a friend who was bedridden, right? And she was nearing dropping her body. But we brought in some earth for her in a pot where she could sit right beside the bed and just put her feet in the dirt, in the earth. She got up and started moving around. Several weeks later, she was able to care for herself. I didn't have to care for her anymore. She eventually dropped her body, but that sent a message to me that the earth has a whole lot of healing properties. Just the earth itself, touching it, being near it, putting clay on your face, eating the clay. It has an electrical charge that really pulses. It's teeming with life, it's teeming with energy. So when we give our sacred blood back to the earth, we're making a sympathetic connection, like we are completing a circuit. So Mama Earth is like, yes, eat local, come get this food, eat these weeds, come do a little urine over here, a little blood over here. I mean, I'm going to reclaim you one day anyway. So do it now and watch the magic happen. When I used to do that, whatever I prayed for that was for the good of all would happen.
Yeah.
It would happen. So that's one of the things that is really, really, really loud and clear. And then the plants, they look at me. Whatever I look at is what I nourish. Okay. I have some plants, the peppers, they look like teeth, they look like molars. We have the celery looking like nerves. We have the chard that looks like lung corpuscles and things like that. So the plant nourishes what it looks like. So we want to eat the real rainbow by eating your cauliflowers. I have on the farm, we have a purple cauliflower, a green cauliflower, a red cauliflower. We have the rainbow chard. We have the rainbow carrots, the burgundy carrots, the golden carrots, the orange carrots. So the more colorful you can make your diet, your live it, how you can just, if you're not growing your own food, make a relationship with someone who has a farm, help out with a CSA, become a community agricultural supporter so that a farm can stay in your neighborhood and thrive. There should be no food deserts at all. We should turn these vacant lots into farm spaces or learn how to cultivate them by eating the medicinal weeds that are there. You know, there's an app on your phone or Google will show you what is poisonous and what is not. We can use those in our salads. We can just rub it like that. And the practice that I do is before I harvest anything, I ask permission of the plant. I don't go and ravish and pull and tug. I ask permission of the plant. The one time that I didn't do that, I got stung by a lot of bees. There was a hive like in the ground. They got me. I was like, oh my God. I will always ask permission to pick, to harvest of these plants because they feel and they know. I mean, Stevie Wonder told us with the secret life of plants. Plants make sounds, they make music, they have electrical charge, they have energy, and that energy fortifies us when we eat it.
Mm.
You know?
Send one your love.
Wow.
Yeah, that's right. Journey through the secret life of plants. Wow,
Mhm.
that's true. Thank you so much. That's a powerful resonance. Powerful resonance. Ruben, you have anything else to add?
No, just to give thanks to Mama Tawhida for all her wisdom, everything that she shared today, also deep resonance with my heart
Sure.
and soul. So thank you so much. Certainly, we will start to apply everything you said.
Mhm.
Every single plant can be that bridge to connect with Mama Earth.
Mhm.
So thank you for reminding us, and thank you for
Yes.
your presence and your mission here on Earth. It's amazing.
Shit.
That's
And you
an
know
honor.
what, Ruben? My mother used to talk to the plants in the house, right? And I didn't understand what she was doing then, but now I know she was building a relationship with the plants. So if the plants were sick, she would recognize it, know it, feel it, and hear it. I had a visitation from my girlfriend. She came over today, and she's kin 130. She's a cosmic dog right there in the middle of the mystic column. Right there
Yeah,
in the middle is okay, right?
exactly.
She went straight to the plants. And I knew she was going to do that because some of the plants in my own house I neglect. So they're kind of like, water me. She came and tended to the plants. She took a little sprig and took it home for her. So I was like,
Okay.
that was just what I needed today for her to remind me that sometimes what's right up under your nose, you need to give the most attention to.
Yeah, you got me thinking about the plants around here too. So that's helpful. And the ones in front as well, front of the house. Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow. You know, as we are making this journey, this 52 episode journey, this is a remarkable pause that you're providing today because the whole effort is really intended to be a ceremony. And so what you've really infused in this is the quality, the frequency of ceremony, just with your being, because it really resonates that you live in a ceremonial way. And as I was sharing with Ruben before we went on broadcast. In fact, I think talking yesterday, I was mentioning how I've always felt that exuberance for life, the vibrance that you possess. It's infectious. And you have a joyful innocence and a spirit of jubilee. I don't know what else to call it, but it's very uplifting.
Yep.
And it is effective. It affects the spaces you enter, and it's greatly appreciated on the planet at this time. It's big medicine. So we're super grateful for that, and we look forward to sharing with you more information along the way as we near this golden intersection point, because we're really inviting communities all over the world to tap in together as we arrive to Indigenous Peoples Day throughout Latin America, and then Indigenous Peoples Day in Turtle Island, North America, and then the golden intersection of timelines the following 2 days, October 14th and 15th. And so those dates are going to be very significant. And I really, I invite you to have that in your awareness and share that with the community where you are, and that hopefully you all can come together in some ceremonial space as you are intuitively guided to do so, just to anchor the energy, because it's not dissimilar than the harmonic convergence. It's very similar. This portal that is actually in one way concluding, and then in another way beginning something entirely new. Because we're hitting such an inflection point, of a shift point. It's many ways we could possibly describe it, but we are in essence being asked to release all that is non-essential, because only the essential can make it through this portal, and whatever's non-essential will be, in one way or another, released for us in that way. And so it's an invitation to really just be light in our hearts, light of vibration. Obviously it's an allegory as much as it's a literal thing, but the weight of the emotional charges and the traumas we've collected individually or collectively, all of that is being invited to just be sat down. And it feels like it's the earth who is summoning to us to release it to her at this time. Oh my. Yeah.
This is my little Scully.
Yeah, Scully. Wow.
A little face.
Yeah, a little face and a skull.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I went to the Crystal Dig in Arkansas, and this was like waiting for me.
Wow. Yes, it was.
Scully.
Wow.
Wow. Point.
Hey, Scully.
Hey, Scully.
we honor you. Yeah, the Crystal Earth. Crystal Earth. Wow.
Yeah, Ashe.
Ashe. Mama Tawhiyda.
Yep. I went to the Crystal Dig with Kwame years ago.
Okay.
And Kwame Sunhorse.
Yes.
And at first I couldn't really find the crystals, right? And he was saying, all you had to do is stay in one place for a while. I wasn't doing that. I was here, there, everywhere. And so I started to dig. And when you dig, you get like different layers, a dry level, and then a peanut butter layer where all of the crystals are there, like in the womb. And then I was like, Kwame, he was like, right there between your feet. Don't you see that? And he would pick up the crystal and show me. Right. So anytime I go that was the first time I went on a crystal dig, I really was able to tap in to who I was. You can't really be impatient. You have to really be intuitive with finding a crystal, because they will lend itself to you. And after, not too long after, I was able to find this.
Wow.
And this is one of the big ones that I brought back. So.
Well, thank you for introducing us to Scully.
Yeah.
Amazing. Wow. Wow. One Kimi to another. That's good. That's good.
Yeah. Give thanks.
We give great thanks for your presence on the planet at this time. Thank you for all that you do and all whom you are, and all those who are with you. And blessings to your entire family. What an honor.
Thank you. Thank you so much for magnetizing me. Thank you for doing that work that you and Ken 113 are doing, and Ishel and Alejandro and your whole crew and your whole team. It's just amazing. It's one of my favorite podcasts. I'm on Monday nights, the same time you are on, so
Yeah.
I get to watch the replays, and it's just so peaceful and so calm. And you have such a beautiful way about you, your energy, your words, your essence, Makua, because Atlanta has never been the same since you left. And now that you're here, it's just an amazing thing. The music, the things you used to do on Clubhouse as well. So I'm really honored to be here at this sacred moment with you and Rubén, and the work, the aerial work, so we can see the bigger intersection of timeline, the bigger synchronicities of things. Thank you, Ashe.
Yeah.
Asheo.
Yeah. Thank you, brother, to having this special guest on this wave spell, and your return tomorrow to your entrance
Yeah.
to 52. So
At the airing of this broadcast, that's right.
Oh, what?
yes,
Makua, you'll be 52?
I enter my 52nd year, so I'll be 51
52nd year.
technically, but I'll be working
Okay.
my way to 52, which technically we
that's so
complete once
nice.
we get there. But yeah.
In the White Wizard wave spell, this wave spell is so celebrated because all my characters, all my archetypes, all my family members are right here.
Yeah, I was going to say
14.
Imam Isa is Kin 14.
He's Kin 14.
Yes,
He's
he is.
Magnetic Wizard. Yeah?
Exactly.
I have a daughter-in-love who's Magnetic Wizard as well.
Okay.
And most of all the wizards that I know are phenomenal. Like Bob Marley, I didn't know him. But the people you used to do music with, I think it's Bilal.
Now, self-existing wizard.
They're like
and Taj, Lunar Wizard. Yep. We got the wizards right there.
Wizards are just phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
Yes.
Well, we encourage the kin out there that have resonated with this message tonight to go check the show notes to find out how they can learn more about the Galactic Purpose Signature with Wanique, or they can also visit lawoftime.org and just do a very basic decoding of themselves just to get keyed in to their own galactic signature. So we really encourage people to tune into that for themselves, because as you've so eloquently and beautifully expressed to us, there's deep resonance with one who connects with
self-realization. That's true enlightenment, when you know the medicine that you carry and why you're here. It's a daily unfolding, especially when you have the Zokin to look at each day and to do your own affirmation and the affirmation for that particular plasma and see how they intersect with the year. I mean, we just celebrated Kin 19, which is the overarching year, the rhythmic store. So that was amazing. We had the day out of time on the 18th, and I learned so much from you and Rubén with the star and the mirror, how those auspicious archetypes kind of color the year and the day out of times,
Absolutely. Remarkable. Thank you all. Thank you so much. And we will definitely tap in with you soon. Peace and love to you and your family. And until next time, in Lakesh.
Lakesh. Thank you so much, Mama.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Hey, beautiful souls. Can we talk about something real for a minute? Have you ever felt like your body is out of sync? Like the world's rhythm is just running on a different beat than yours? I know I felt it. For most of us, our cycles, our energy, emotions, even our periods, feel like they're at odds with everything around us. But here's the thing, it's not you, sis. It's the way time has been handed to us. This artificial calendar that ignores the natural flow of our biology. What if I told you there's another way? A way that actually aligns with our bodies and the natural rhythms of life. There's a rhythm we've been disconnected from. A calendar based on 13 cycles, or moons, each 28 days long. Sound familiar? That's because it matches the average menstrual cycle. And if you think about it, over the course of a year, a woman releases 13 eggs. See how this rhythm is literally built into us? It's no coincidence. Our bodies, the moon, and the earth are all speaking the same language. We've just forgotten how to listen. And here's where it gets even better. When we align with this rhythm, we don't just sync with ourselves. We start syncing with the women around us too. Sisters, friends, partners. Our cycles naturally harmonize when we spend time together, just like the phases of the moon. It's wild. and beautiful how nature brings us together. Living in sync with natural time isn't just about tracking periods. It's about reclaiming our power. When we align with the 13 moon 28-day rhythm, we invite balance and flow into every area of our lives, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. No more pushing through burnout or feeling out of step with the world's demands. Instead, it's about moving through life in a way that feels right, that honors when it's time to rest, to create, to grow, and to release. This shift has been transformational for me, and I know it can be for you too. Your energy changes when you step into this rhythm. Your creativity flows, your relationships deepen, and yes, your period becomes less of a battle and more of a cycle that you can trust. There's a reason we're seeing more and more women reconnect with nature, whether it's through wellness practices, moon tracking, or just tuning into their bodies. The 13 moon 28-day calendar is part of this movement. It offers us something this modern world can't, a return to harmony. This isn't about being perfect. It's about finding a flow that feels right for you. It's about saying, I'm done living by someone else's timeline. I'm choosing a rhythm that honors who I am. Imagine how life would shift if we all did this. If we lived on a rhythm that aligns with nature and our own biology. We'd be more connected to ourselves, more in sync with each other, and way more at peace with the flow of life. Here's my invitation to you. Try it out. Track your days using the 13 moon 28-day rhythm. There are apps and tools that make it easy, like the synchronometer. Start noticing how your body responds. Do your emotions shift? Does your energy feel more balanced? Do your cycles sync with the moon, or even with the women close to you? Give it time and see what happens. And when you do, let me know. Share your experiences. DM me, comment, whatever feels right. I'd love to hear how this rhythm shows up in your life, because we're all on this journey together. This isn't just a calendar change. It's a revolution. It's a way for us to reconnect with ourselves, each other, and the natural flow of life. We don't have to live by the artificial timelines the world sets for us. We are the rhythm. We are the flow. And when we align with that truth, life just feels different. Like we're finally living in harmony with who we were always meant to be. So here's to reclaiming our cycles, our power, and our peace. One moon, one cycle, one rhythm at a time.
All right. In Lakesh, brother.
What a beautiful, beautiful video.
Right.
Yes.
Great video.
Yeah.
Natural time. Wow.
Yeah. I'm just speechless. Yeah.
Well, big up to Ishel Esther Kin 16 for her beautiful visual, creative presentation. You know, certainly we'd played that in a previous episode, and it was great to really be able to bring it forward in this episode right now after that fantastic exchange with Mama Tawhiyda. So profound and grounding, I feel, and certainly informing for me personally. Just having, known her now 21 years, at this Kin 21 juncture, the whole thing, the frequencies and all that relays and communicates at this time. So
yeah, so beautiful. So
Indeed. And here we are, of course, en route to the portal to cosmic harmony, the golden intersection of timelines. And as of today, specifically, we're 183 days to this particular marker, this moment. And as we were mentioning earlier, that's literally half a solar spin, literally half a year. So that's quite incredible that we find ourselves just anchoring this in this ongoing ceremony, this process. I mean, really everything since we initiated this and we're guided to really create this space continues to just really amplify beautifully.
yes, and having this 28th episode basically coinciding with this perfect half of a year is an amazing synchronicity that we didn't plan for this. It just happened, and that's the beautiful one of the many beautiful aspects of living in natural time is that every day it brings like a new surprise and a new miracle, because it's really, the miracles are all abound. We just sometimes don't see them because we don't have the right tools to perceive them. But
Indeed.
yes.
Yeah, just the illustrative display, just to help people really appreciate what's happening, because one of the layers on October 14th is the completion of 13 tune cycles, or 4,680 days since December 21st, 2012. So it's a very significant marker in terms of the harmonic interval that represents, the echo in essence also when we were then in direct alignment with galactic center. And we talk of the womb and we talk of that relationship with the frequency 28. Well, there's certainly a relationship with the womb, and that being really identified as that center point of the galaxy, being the womb from which life in this galaxy has issued, right?
Yes.
And expressed from. So when we come into that alignment at the 13th tune, it's just a beautiful, beautiful moment to truly commemorate this relationship with the Cosmic Mother and to really revive that in our everyday expression, you know, as a growing expression of peace through culture. So just as you were demonstrating the bookending of Helena Roerich from October 15th, 1582, you know, on to Nicholas Roerich completing the cycle October 14th, 2025. I mean, it's uncanny.
Yes.
Just the beautiful creative stabilization, almost a subsuming. The whole thing is effectively being subsumed in harmony, in
Yeah.
art, in beauty, in culture.
Yes.
So, you know, I guess that's our mutual perspective and sort of how we've been guided through this process. And we really just want to do our best to encourage others to tap in. And one, again, entry point is to really know your signature. If anything is more evident from our exchange with Mama Tawhida, is just she is dialed in, the embodiment in terms of living into that beautifully, expressively, intergenerationally. I mean, that's just, I love that. I love stories like that. It's just amazing. So, what a
Yes.
wonderful
Especially because
experience.
one thing is to know things. This can be very mental, but there is a whole different experience to embody it.
Mm.
And Mama Tahira was a perfect example of what it means to embody this information, and really she knows a lot, but the way that she communicates make it so easy to really grasp and really ground. So we are so thankful for this episode and for what is ahead of us. Really, these 6 Gregorian months to October 14th, today, April 14th,
Wow.
when
Yeah.
with the celebration of the banner of peace and with the legacy of these two peace emissaries,
Mm.
Nicholas La San Helena Rorik, and of course the legacy of Loidin, Bolonic is so beautiful to have all of that combined today is such a moving and beautiful experience.
Absolutely. I mean, it's really remarkable. In fact, we can't mess it up, ultimately. And that's one thing that seems to reveal is this timing. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is timed. Everything is as if on schedule in its own way. So it's quite a remarkable process we're experiencing. And in one of our future episodes, I do look forward to exploring more deeply. You sort of indicated this last episode a little bit. You touched on it. We didn't get a chance to go that deeply into it. One of the things that we've been observing about this process is that there's a real parallel here between the astrophysics or theoretical physics perspective of Dan Winter describing the process of phase conjugation in parallel to what Dr. Jose Arguelles described as the fractal time compression. And what we're experiencing is attending to the center. Everything is essentially collapsing to the center. And in that collapse, it's becoming something new. And that's why I was saying earlier in the interview as well, just the fact that the things that are going to move through this collapse are the essential, like who you are, who I am, who we are. All that is essential moves through, while that which is non-essential, it may not in the way we might otherwise think. So very interesting is there's a lot of noise, obviously, in the third dimensional fray. Though that's not the only vibrational level of what's happening. That is a vibrational level. It happens to be a dominant vibration for most and for many. However, there are other levels of vibratory rate that are happening simultaneously. Some might even describe it as quantum distinctions that are becoming more and more evident. And so as we navigate through this process, we can imagine that we're going to continue to experience great transformation really through agency of the sun and how the sun is effectively mutating us as a genetic species, as a planetary species. And part of that process is as well the enlightenment, we might say, or the actualization, the realization of the planet's noosphere. And that we're actually a part of that living process of becoming. So, essentially, just to give a sense for people, that's an essential layer of what this space and what this process of this golden path really is leading to effectively. And we're seeing it in various ways. Again, there's ways it's being expressed in the 3D, very uncanny synchronizations. And then we see it in various ways. And I'm certain individuals also who are tracking this in one way or another, just really paying attention, are also experiencing their own synchronicities. Absolutely. And how they see the recurring patterns and the recursive nature of natural time.
Yes. And we, as you mentioned, we will explore within the next episode this science of the heart, which is really this astrophysics. I love the fact that Dan Winter really brings it down to enter that 0 point of the heart.
Yes.
That resonance that is compressed there to really is the mechanics of life, life itself, and we are entering that 0 point. I love that the Mayan symbol for zero is the same symbol of phi, the golden ratio.
Right.
But horizontal. The golden ratio is this circle divided by a vertical line. The zero is that same symbol rotated 90 degrees. So we are entering that 0 point, and then these 183 days that we have still to journey through that trajectory are going to be a beautiful, beautiful entrance into that 0 point, that sacred chamber of the heart. So happy and so honored to share this journey with you, brother, on this special solar return, and looking forward to keep doing this work.
Likewise, brother. True honor as well. Want to give great thanks to everybody showing up in the live chat, being with us for the duration this episode, this sacred 28th episode. I also want to give a special acknowledgement to Delia Sky, where you'll hear her synchronotron tones played in the beautiful intro video produced by Ishel. So if you listen toward the end, when it introduces the show title, you'll hear the resonance of today's synchronotron tones. And we're going to continue to apply those over the subsequent episodes every 7 days, every 7 plasmas, moving forward to the golden intersection, just as another way to help people tune in, sync up, and get in resonance within themselves and within this collective and shared experience. I also want to encourage people to look for the link where you can find more about Delia's tones in the show notes in the description as well.
Yeah, and especially now that we enter, since the last episode that we did on Kin 260, we entered that 7th frequency of Kin 7, 14, 21. Our next episode will be Kin 28. So that's a beautiful alignment
pattern. Exactly. It's a beautiful reminder. It's like the cross frequency, in a harmonious way. And that's the beautiful thing. So we give great thanks, and certainly encourage folks to tune into the website, theharmonicfactor.com, for more. And we will come forward with another great episode. Just to mention that we're going to be soon in the 3rd wave spell of Zolkin 54, and that is the Blue Hand wave spell. And look for a post on Harmonic Convergence 2020 to 2028 on the Facebook side of things, where we're going to have a comprehensive article like we published last year, or rather last Zolkin, to be more specific, when we did enter this Blue Hand wave spell, because as we complete this current wave spell, as we arrive to the cosmic world bridger, it's important that we recognize sort of anchoring the function of the wave spell. It has to actually begin at the close of the preceding wave spell and extend to the entrance of the following wave spell. So not just the 13 days of the Blue Hand, but the day before and the day after the Blue Hand wave spell also have to be made conscious or activated. And we're going to publish some more about that in a few days. So look out for that on the Facebook page as well, just for an appreciation of the wave spell science itself in terms of the counterbalancing effect and the healing effect, the neutralizing effect of certain incidences across our collective timelines. Okay. Such as the reversal of the impacts of the detonation of atomic energy from the Trinity experience, in the year 1945 specifically. That's one specific incident that is being counterbalanced through this effect, particularly with this wave spell coming up. So we look forward to making that conscious.
Also, honoring Earth Day, that we will have April 22nd. We will have another 55 years from Earth Day, being 55, the frequency of the harmonic convergence, and being Dr. Ozerway is one of the initiators of Earth Day. So this is a beautiful, beautiful time and beautiful opportunity for us to really shift the frequency that is transpiring right now on the planet, of a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress. And we are so honored to be able to hold every 7 days here space for harmony and for a different story to be told.
Ashe. Beautiful, brother. Well, we give great thanks to you, and blessings, Alejandra, as well. Thank you, as always. Kin 260 pod represent. And yeah, just with deep gratitude and big love for all our relations out there in the field, okay?
Lakesh.
We'll tune in with you soon. And Lakesh, Alakin, everyone. One love.
Tune in with the Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view. Galactic Spin podcast and expand your view.